Welcome to Let's Play Rule the Waves 3 as Germany starting in 1935. It's September 1947 and we are in part 2 of a battle with our lovely battlecruiser the Reichsgraf. Due to a complete cock-up in a software upgrade for my recording software, it defaulted back to the default mic, which is not actually the microphone that I use. So, annoyingly, I'm going to have to voice over this episode from the start. So ignore that chap in the top right-hand corner, he knows nothing. This is the situation that we left it. The wind is coming from the south, slightly southeasterly, heading to the northwest, and ideal for our carriers who will be able to fly off their planes and maintain the correct course at the same time, but obviously inconveniencing the French carrier force down to the south. Our carriers are about 60 nautical miles away from the battlecruiser action and about 160 from the carriers, French carriers. My plan, such as it is to strike down at the French carriers, ideally with a mass attack, and stay out of trouble from them. French carriers have had a history of being quite difficult targets to hit. However, over in the battlecruiser action, things have evened up with the loss of one of the French battlecruisers, and so I'm hoping to be able to split my force. The Red Arrow, I think, is going to cover my battlecruiser, the Reichsgraf, which is having a hell of a good battle, and use it to follow a course roughly around the red dots. I would love it to head eastwards into the coast of Norway, but I don't think the French are going to oblige. So southeast would be great, and if necessary, going south to chase. At the same time, I want to split off my heavy cruisers, and maybe some of my light cruisers, with the green arrows and head them south at speed to see if we can't chase down these carriers and shoot them up a bit. That would be wonderful. So, yeah, that's the hope. It's a complex plan, and obviously the French get a vote in what they can do. If I could destroy the second French battlecruiser, that would be epic. If I could sink a carrier or even a light carrier, that would be great. And, you know, if necessary, if I could knock off a few cruisers, I would be fine with that too. We've made such a great start. It would be really sad to fluff this battle. Okay, we've got 3.5 hours to go until dusk. I mean, call it 4 hours until nighttime. And even when nighttime comes, I'm not going to be frightened of losing off a few carrier strikes and maybe having my cruisers go one-on-one with their carriers if I can find them. I've been setting the search directions for the various air bases, which is something I've never done, so thanks for the people in the comments who've said, no, you can totally do this. Just click on the flag and go up to the search, and you can control the search pattern and as well as the kinds of cap that they give off. So here down in Emden, for example, I'm focusing on the southern North Sea and down into the English Channel. Unfortunately, you can't control the strikes from these bases. This is from Tonda and covers the central North Sea. If we zoom in, there's the Reichsgraf, and fortunately the cap that we requested from land-based air is still going. There was a time when it would forget that setting when you saved the game and then came into a battle later. So let's have a little look around auto-selecting a strike. Let's see what we've got. So, I mean, it's a fair selection. I'm reasonably happy with that. Here is this carrier force of 2 CVLs, 2 heavy cruisers, and they seem like a good target. They also seem to be the most recent and just under 140 nautical miles away now. So, big question, of course, as ever, is whether to coordinate or not to coordinate. to coordinate between carriers or coordinate within carriers. So the difference of coordinating everything is an hour and a half. So from just after 4 o'clock to 5:45 in the evening, in the dusk, actually, I think that is. So I'm tempted to coordinate because it would be lovely to overpower the carriers, but obviously the amount of intelligence you get can vary greatly. But I think I know where they're going, so let's do that and cross fingers. Over in Flug 2 there are fewer, so I'm thinking of possibly either sending them at the Strasbourg, which is a relatively quick turnaround. They'll be there for 7:15, and off they go on an optimistic raid to see if they can help with any of that. It's still been remarkable for me how poor carrier aviation has been in this war. I know in the early battles they were fighting winter, but they haven't really done a lot over the summer. Here we are in September, still either late summer or early autumn. The Reichsgraf has taken 5 heavy hits. The forward turret's disabled. Turret B was jammed but is back in action, so hooray for that. Obviously some concern about the use of my heavy ammunition. We are bashing our way through, but to good effect so far. Let's start thinking about these cruisers. Currently they're heading south and the French are, I think it's technically known as running away. I'm going to try and implement this plan. So the München is going to follow the Reichsgraf and head in a southeasterly direction. And I'm thinking of sending the Scharnhorst and Gneisenau off with the Italian cruisers in an easterly direction ultimately. But rather than go head straight smack into the French force, I'm going to take the Scharnhorst and Gneisenau the long way around. Just putting back some of these small forces onto AI in order to keep everything simple, because I don't think we're going to catch. Prince Eugen and the Italians are going to keep on heading in this southeasterly direction. And yes, the Scharnhorst and Gneisenau will loop around, up and around behind to the north of the Reichsgraf. So that's the plan. The Italians are a little bit too close to the French, so I'm just moving them to the east. The Reichsgraf is some 15,500 yards, so that's fairly close range. And some aircraft going in with no hits. Just putting the München and Breslau to be automatically following with the Reichsgraf. More friendlies shooting down torpedo bombers in an altogether very attractive way. And there goes the Scharnhorst up and over. I'm going to hold fire for 10 minutes. I'm only allowing myself to hold fire for 10 minutes because I frankly can't be trusted to hold fire for any longer. More friendly shooting downs of torpedo bombers, which is a good thing. The Reichsgraf hits the Strasbourg. Well done. And another torpedo bomber downed. Now, although the daylight sighting is 27,000 yards, we've immediately gone with the Strasbourg from identified to BC to unidentified, and that's going to hurt gunnery. Let's flatten out the Scharnhorst and Gneisenau. And the Reichsgraf's lost sight of the Strasbourg. That was really quick. So here we've got some Junkers from the von Passeval approaching enemy ships. Good luck. And some more going in. Do I want to change the strike location? So yes, it's pretty accurate. So I'm going to say yes to that and just move it down a smidge. You'll notice the bogus claim that there's a CV there. That's a fib. At least I assume it is. I'm taking the Italians down to a more sustainable 25 knots. I don't want them charging around the entire ocean, and ditto for the Prinz Eugen. I will actually, for the Scharnhorst and Gneisenau, I would just put it up to 27 just to give them a small edge so that they can catch up with the Prinz Eugen and the Italians. So the Reichsgraf, I'm keeping on, going in the same direction, but obviously the French aren't fully playing ball, so I'm going to turn it south. Some more torpedo bombers, torpedo bomb an enemy CV. Do I want to adjust that strike? Very little to go on. I mean, the temptation is always to fiddle. How old was that report? And where was it from? So there's this scout from Trondheim and this one. So, given that they've moved a bit, I'm probably just want to take it up a little bit further. 13 Focke-Wulfs coming in. Enemy ship light cruiser hit by a torpedo. Now, it did say it was attacking a CV. It's reported it struck a light cruiser. Who knows? And another. Okay. So obviously I'm liking that. Some Focke-Wulfs going in from the Otto Liethenthal. So I'm just speeding up again, having for the Reichsgraf, and bringing down the Scharnhorst just to sort of cut the cord to gain a little bit of distance. Enemy CL hit by a missile. God, I wish it was a CV. So that's nice. So this is all going pretty well. You can see the red dots in amongst the green dots. This is what long-range warfare looks like in 1947. Red dots and green dots far, far away. Trying to close. Do I want to pick up survivors? Sure. Let's get some more victory points. Nice to see readying a strike from Emden mentioned there, and from Stavanger. Launch some catapults, aircraft. Yep, off you go, float planes. And from Quattro. Off you go. So, bogus BB there. That's not a BB. So, yes, this could just turn out to be a long chase, but good news, they're chasing, allowing us to chase them towards their carriers, so that's nice. We're shooting at this alleged BB. It's probably a heavy cruiser. So, Prince Eugen, just getting that to come down, follow the Italians. I do like this kind of sandwich tactic where all of my broadsides get to shoot and the enemy has to split its broadside between either one side or the other. Reichsgraf happily straddling the target. Scharnhorst has hit a light cruiser. I think that, okay, the light cruiser's still moving. And it's being walloped again and again and again. Oh, good to see turret A on the Reichsgraf has being repaired. Well done, chaps. Nothing like investing in damage control doctrine to see a happy payoff in the middle of battle. So I'm just seeing if I can get the Reichsgraf to shoot at a better target, but it's not really seeing it. Just bringing the cruisers slightly south now. They're just, on the edge of their radar range, which seems like a relatively safe place to be. But Algiers is not in a happy place. So some more carrier planes popping in. More hits on the Algiers. I fear the Algiers might be in overkill. Okay, so there's a heavy cruiser there. Dupuy de Lume. I think they're quite nice heavy cruisers, actually. More, yes, send out more reconnaissance. So just tracking nicely. The Algiers is definitely struggling. So, but it's moving, and whilst it's moving, we shoot. So those are two heavy cruisers down south of the same class. Oh dear. Enemy cap shooting down a couple of my dive bombers. Okay. So just see, obviously there's a strike package. Tee-hee. Not seeing many late updates for the presence of the carriers. It's just gone 4 o'clock now, 5 minutes past 4. So let's get rid of some of these earlier unhelpful reports. That clears all of that up quite a lot. So yes, I wonder who they are. It's certainly not the other Strasbourg, but let's see if we can sort out a strike against them. So so if we take off the jets, then we can make everything heavy and then pop the jets back on. Okay, that works. Okay, there doesn't really seem to be quite enough strike aircraft for this at the moment, so I think I'm going to leave it. I'm tempted to ready to strike, but we'll leave it just for now. So the battlecruiser, has sort of lost the of the Strasbourg, but it's found 2 heavy cruisers. So, yes, I mean, yeah, sinking 1, maybe 2 heavy cruisers would be fun. Particularly as, you know, the Reichsgraf is now starting to run out of ammunition. And I think the Strasbourg is just faster. I think the Reichsgraf is a 29-knot ship. The Strasbourg is a 31-knot. So, as ever, the importance of speed, despite its incredible cost, demonstrates itself again. So, yeah, these two seem to be left out to dry a little bit. Let's turn away for a little while and bring the rest of these guys down to teach them a lesson, because it's still relatively early. I don't want the... oh, that's nice. So it came out of the blue. Torpedoes aren't what they used to be, though. I mean, there was a day when a good torpedo hit would be a good ship sunk. Oh, and lots of bomb hits there. That's very nice. So they're bombing an enemy BC, and then 3 more bombing a CVL. I mean, they're fighting stuff. Good, legitimate stuff. Down towards here. Says they're going north. I mean, I never ever believe these directions, particularly because that's the direction they would have to go for the carriers to fly. I was going to say to fly off, but actually that's completely not true. They'd have to go completely the other direction to fly off aircraft. Some more good hits. Some French fighters tangling with ours. 3 hits on an Algier light cruiser, so yeah, we might be able to pinch off certainly 1 light cruiser and a heavy cruiser. I think I would hope, but maybe 2 of each. I mean, that would be good. It all adds to the pot. So yes, their carriers there are sufficiently far away to make it really difficult, and I don't think the Reichsgraf has the ammunition. If the Reichsgraf was fully loaded, that would be great. Just shows the importance of fitting out your battleships with as much ammunition as you can. Let's hold fire for them. Yes, because that Algier has stopped and isn't going to do anything for anybody. Their ammunition is fine. Says there's a CV there. I don't believe it. Prince Eugen isn't shooting at anybody. Some more planes coming in. So there's a little bit of a strike ready. We are at... Hang on. So there's nothing we can do with Fluke 1. Let's just check Fluke 2. So Fluke 2 is not a huge strike, but again, we could select these ready ones and send them off to wherever that CVL CA is. Well, I don't actually know where that is. Where is that one? So uncoordinated, they come back at just after 6, having time on target at 5:30, which is just the beginning of dusk. So that is definitely worth considering, because you have to think at daylight or even dusk, they are in a better position. So I make a mistake here. I think I send them off uncoordinated. I should have sent them off coordinated by carrier. Okay, let's ready some more fighters as escorts. since this might be a difficult one. So, oh, and there they are. That didn't take long. Back to Flug 2. Ready, select ready rather. So the 2CV seems interesting, but then the 1CV is the newer, so, and only 80 nautical miles. So, and yes, I'm going to say no to these, and that's a mistake, silly me. Should always coordinate by single carrier, otherwise they will just pell-mell pile in. So here we are, sandwiching these two heavy cruisers. The light cruiser to the north is stationary and I believe sinking. So we're going to move these around so that the Reichsgraf is towards the south and my heavy cruisers to the north, and see if we can't crush two heavy cruisers. So some cap interception against some of their fighters, which is always good. So yeah, 8-inch guns, absolute classic naval Washington style 10,000 ton cruiser. Scharnhorst owns only 50% of its ammo, so even they are starting to run short. And of course, they're attacking the sinking light cruiser. So let's see if we can get them to attack. Yes, that would be better. Thank you. 17,000 yards. Let's go for them. A few more planes going in. Enemy ones this time. And some more enemy ones having a go at my cruisers. So, Reichsgraf going north, and the Scharnhorst Gneisenau and Prinz Eugen. I think I'll set the Prinz Eugen to AI control so it just follows, hopefully, the Scharnhorst and Gneisenau. Firing secondary guns at the sinking light cruiser. I mean, if you want to, guys. Tons and tons of hits. %9 ammo. Woohoo! That's kind of probably time to go to port time. Well, there's one of the heavy cruisers that's been stopped, which is excellent. And yep, the Reichsgraf has switched. The other heavy cruiser is, I imagine, in a world of hurt. Oh, cool, yeah. Oh, lots and lots and lots of lovely hits. So I can't complain at that. And a spread of torpedoes. Oh, one of our poor old Ethiopia has copped a torpedo from somewhere. Because I don't think the Dupe de Lum has torpedoes. Maybe the Claymore destroyer there. Strange name for a French destroyer, but there you go. Yep, Claymore is the possible villain, unless it was a friendly one. Oops, and the Ethiopia is sinking. I think it was only a quite light anti-aircraft cruiser, but still, Italians will be a bit annoyed by that. Let's put this to follow the Prinz Eugen on automatic. Lots of torpedoes in the water. I think time... Is it time for them to turn away? I kind of feel it is. Yes, 7% ammo now. Can't say we haven't got our value for money out of it. You have to think of the poor gun turret crew having to go right down to the back of the magazine where all the dirty shells are that never get used. Some more shooting down of French dive bombers this time. Well done, jet fighters. They've been an absolutely awesome investment. So yeah, farewell, Reichsgraf. You've done yourself proud. Your average captain, who's also a gunnery expert, has done the ship a pile of good in the battlecruiser Ace Stakes. And yep, that's the second French heavy cruiser gone stationary. Poor old Quattro is on fire, only level 2, but still probably want to slow them down and send them quietly on their way so that the Italian damage control parties can sort out that fire. So yeah, with the with the Prinz Eugen and the Gneisenauer and the Scharnhorst probably all at sort of just over 40% ammo, is a question of, you know, what to do with them. The Reichsgraf just hasn't got many guns left, so really should just leave the scene. There's no advantage to having it. Obviously, monster load of hits, so probably superfluous. So probably need to disengage a little bit. Oh, and yeah, that's the poor old Ethiopia sinking. One lousy torpedo. There's Stavanger, wonderfully close by. And of course, the time is just gone 5 o'clock. So probably the carriers would benefit from starting to head towards Stavanger as well. Yeah. Oh, just torpedo the already sinking heavy cruisers, why don't we all? Yep. Masses and masses. I mean, in fairness, you know, they are still afloat, sort of, if wrecked. So here we are approaching some enemy ships, but all the news dominated by the poor old heavy cruisers being blasted. So happy with that. 30% damage. Even the Quattro with its 6-inch guns has loosed off 40% of them. So yeah, just take this down to a nice sedate 12 and let it go to Stavanger. And see if we can make the carriers head homeish. So here's this Anflug 1 load of aeroplanes. Obviously this is getting now into deep night time, you know, sort of 8 o'clock in the evening. But they're all, you know, this is 47. They should be pretty night capable. In fact, we are, yes, it's 6:30. God, time really, you know, zooms past when you're having fun. So yeah, we are well into dusk. Okay, so we're going to be heading the carriers east, and yep, that's going east as well, so that's all good. The cruisers are heading west towards the British coast, which is great. The Reichsgraf is heading home. There's a tiny little green dot there, which I think is nothing more than a destroyer. We're well into dusk. Whoops. Had a slight mistake there with my tablet, which I use to control this. Here you go, those buttons. Let me change the scenes and move around, but it can be a bit complicated. So let me just sort that one out. Yeah, you see, I can change the scenes back to me or back to the thing by pressing on the tablet, but it is a bit like tapping my head and tickling my tummy at the same time occasionally. I mean, you know, like 99% of the time it's fine. Right, that is all going ahead fine. So, yeah. So that annoying little destroyer is giving me this message that it's preventing the carriers from doing launching off operations. So, which is, you know, very annoying because it's just one little thing. And yeah, it's totally the way. It's not even, you know, particularly close, but the carriers are very sensitive to having surface ships nearby. So, you know, that is interesting. If you're tracing carriers, then stopping them from launching planes just because physically you're close to them is a real thing. Okay. Oh, so there's that. Yeah, that chap is. Yeah, that is very close. Oops. So maybe just time to take the Giovanni della Bande near. Sorry for your Italians there. And some of the cruisers. There are cruisers around here. Where are you? So let's take them and focus on their safety. Do we need to turn the Prinz Eugen? Certainly the Scharnhorst. So what you get, one little lone thingy. Oh, it's that Claymore. Now it's probably loosed off its torpedoes. There must be, there's the Danzig. Let's take them out and put it on support, line ahead, and okay. And yeah, let's zoom down. So yeah, cheeky chuff, as they say in Derbyshire. And yes, as soon as big boys start to arrive, it turns away very understandably. And here is nighttime. Nighttime at just a few minutes after 7 in the evening. We are just over halfway through the battle. 406 out of 800 time is allotted for this battle. So yes, let's see if these cruisers can chase down this destroyer, or at least really just chase it away. But, I mean, it's had a decisive impact in terms of preventing me from launch that nighttime attack. Intelligence says it's not a destroyer, it must be a heavy cruiser now. So, yes, bit of a diversion, but that's what a good destroyer captain should be doing. So I salute the Claymore. Fine piece of getting in the way in the right way. Okay, seems to have gone far enough. So I think I'm going to turn these people round. Certainly the Danzig and Königsberg can go back to screening the carrier. We'll keep the Italian going a little bit longer, but we will screen it by heading south. Yep, just a little bit more. Graf Zeppelins wants to head south. Well, it is actually very close to Stavanger now. Only 50 nautical miles. Sort out the intelligence. So here they all are, some of them. So I want to resume my cruisers. So that destroyer, not only did it distract my aircraft carriers from launching a first night attack, it's also deflected my cruiser force from hunting down, and that might be a thing later, hunting down their carriers. Yes, I think the Reichsgraf can go into Stavanger, open up the schnapps, tell stories, maybe have a bite to eat, you know, all the good things that a well-deserving battlecruiser that's being victorious should allow itself to do. Okay. So yes, everyone seems to be sorting themselves out. Yeah. What to do with these? Take them up to 25 and send them to join the raiding party. Just, you know, crisscross the northern North Sea and see if they scoop up anything. Little air attack going in there. So quite big reports there. There's a 5 CVL report and a couple of 3s. Let's get rid of these old ones. And they are just all concentrated ahead of us. Now, question is, are they cruising or are they legging it? Are they thrashing through the waters at 30 knots or something? Or are they relaxing on a nice steady 18 knots? If they're relaxing, we'll catch them. Oh wow, I didn't notice the Scharnhorst only has 5% ammo and the Gneisenau 29%. Yeah, they were a bit profligate when dooming those Dupé de Lume heavy cruisers. Still, I want to keep it there as much as a way of threatening the enemy carriers, forcing them to make some sort of mistake. Okay, air activity has quietened all the way down. And we're midway now between Norway and Scotland. All of these guys are all heading pretty much in the right direction. Okay, there's a new report flagged, but generally in our direction. No green dots. We want a green dot. That's what we're looking for. Local time is 10:40 in the evening. That will be one of those destroyers, the Blue Arrow. Just get rid of that. We want these green. We want these blue flags. There's something ahead of us, and we need to find them. Tantalizing, isn't it? Absolutely tantalizing. Come on, boys. You must be close now. So let's go yes to all of them to go home. This lot are like, why are we stuck out in the middle of the sea whilst everybody else is tucking into a late supper? Well, there's goes to Scotland, Peterhead, Fraserburgh. places like that. Yep. See, almost within grasp. Almost. Some planes crisscrossing. Another little sighting there. Now, it looks like they are going to go to the south of Peterhead, so we can kind of use Scotland to cut them off. So that's useful. Cuts down the amount of searching area. So yeah, let's crank it up to squad max and see if that makes a difference at all. It, yeah, can't be far. Let's send them into line ahead so that they're in some sort of fighting condition if we manage to intercept them. Look at them. We've been spotted by enemy aircraft. Boo! Whether that translates to messages to people saying, for God's sake, speed up, you're being chased. A couple of Henschels approaching enemy. See if they managed to do anything. Doesn't look like it. Another day, another report. Now, although, oh crikey, we're running out of time. Now, I was going to say, it should let us carry on because we're chasing active things, but apparently no opposing ships in sight. So here we are. Let's have a little look at this. So we lost a cruiser, an Italian cruiser. Sorry, Italy. Whoops. But we've sunk a battle cruiser. Oh, medium damage on another. 2 heavy cruisers, 1 light cruiser, and a destroyer. So, I mean, that's, you know, look at that. 2 carriers, 6 light carriers. Now, you know, they did nothing to us, so I suppose I can't complain. 234,000 points against 22,500, so 10 times. Obviously the points are reduced by being in captain's mode, but captain's mode I think worked really well in actually being able to send that cruiser force at night. 36 losses to our planes, 48 to them, 27 in air-to-air against 18 for us. So that's all good thing. 11 operational losses on both sides. Okay. So, I mean, that's all fair enough. Usually we have higher damage to them. I was going to say losses, that's wrong. So, here we are. So, the poor old Marseille took 13 heavy and a medium. So, really not a lot. Poor, unlucky Marseille. And, yeah, oh, and a bomb hit as well. And yeah, just obviously went in there and yeah, hit the hull and then the superstructure and then the hull again and then turret Y and turret X, which was disabled, and then the hull radar disabled by their own guns, always amusing. Then a waterline hit and a hull hit and near miss. I mean, all steady stuff, but nothing dramatic. Engine room, critical hit on the rudder. Okay, no one loves that. Turret X hit on the top and disabled. Another engine room hit. They hit they hit the poor old Scharnhorst. Nicer than Eisenhower got an 8-inch hit on the engine room. 500-pound bomb from the Graf Zeppelin. 15-inch hit on Y, which also disabled it. They did get their rudder repaired and flooding sorted. Then wafting about, evading air attacks, and then boom, turret B hit, flash fire. Good night, Vienna. So I mean, you know, good, fortunate hit. You can't count on turret hits. Dupé de Lume itself, absolutely battered. 21 heavy, 32 medium, 54 lights, 2 torpedoes and a bomb. I mean, you know, just missing a missile, really. Lots of evading, lots of big hits. Yeah, absolutely crushing for a treaty heavy cruiser kind of a guy. And then, yeah, quite a lot of hits post-sinking. Well, you know, swings and roundabouts. One battleship blows up and one is pounded. La Touche Traville, similar, 4 heavy, 278 medium hits. Scharnhorst, I'm looking at you. And 115 mediums and a couple of torpedoes as well. So, yes, that's all a bit. Now, the Strasbourg, named ship of the class. I mean, a heck of a lot of superstructure damage. 18 heavy, 30 medium. Yeah, I mean, that's... There could have been an opportunity. Radar disabled by its own guns minutes into opening fire. But yeah, good sustained barrage from about 1:45 to certainly 2:30, reading down. Hull hit, superstructures, turrets disabled twice. I mean, that's lucky. They had 2 turret disabling hits within a minute of each other, and the turret didn't blow up. Boo. I mean, I can't complain. So, yeah. And then more. Yeah, very intense around this 2:30. Look at all, this is all around 2:30. Smacking in repeatedly. Absolutely devastating number of hits. With, you know, a lot of pummeling from the heavy cruisers. Gneisenau, Prince Eugen, they're all in action. Even the secondary battery from Reichsgraf. So, yes. And then after about 2:44, the heat is off. It manages to escape, and yeah, probably had we stayed right on it and stayed braver and a bit closer, I feel we may well have been able to sink the Strasbourg. It was taking a hell of a lot of damage and wasn't having much fun. The Reichsgraf itself, 5 hits, and they were, I think, all quite early on. So look at all, this is all main battery scores messages almost entirely. So yeah, well done, Captain Dietrich, average and gunnery expert. I wonder if your rating will go up from average to above average. I'd like to think so, or at least a nice medal or something. So well done, Reichsgraf, from tail end Charlie to hero. The Algier and the the Algier was absolutely pounded. Ethiopia, 1 torpedo, boom. So yeah, not very impressive for the Ethiopia. If we look at the hit percentages, Reichsgraf at 5.8 for the totality of firing off 95% of its ammo. The French, very respectable 2.8s and 2.9s. The Marseille, dreadful, less than 1%. I mean, you know, that is what happens when you get pummeled a lot. The Marseille itself is 2.8. So, yeah, here. So a bomb hit on this, didn't really bother it untoward, and 2 bomb hits. Now, I mean, you know, this is a light carrier. It's only 15,000 tons. I would have thought it would have been more disturbed by a couple of bomb hits. Obviously, not whilst planes were ranged on deck. And yeah, the one missile hit was on the Algiers, so that didn't really contribute very much. Certainly missiles have been taken down a peg. Let's have a look at the map, see what we can tell from the various tracks of the fleet's HQs. So yeah, here we have running away at 26 knots or so, a couple of light cruisers, light carriers rather. I mean, the distance, just, you know, just twice, 2.5 times the radar. That was very close, very close. So yeah, that's a great shame. Oh, Dixmude class light carriers. Had a lot of success with Dixmude in my France starting in 1920 playthrough under Rule the Waves 2. Absolute legends. But yeah, not much damage on any of them. So yeah, just tantalizing. Let's not, you know, let's not torture ourselves. More carriers up here, couple more. Obviously I wasn't targeting them. And then over here we have the 2 French fleet carriers. So see how the French carriers are just scattered all over the place to the wind. So yeah, Lafayette and Bern. This, you know, brave course, I'm going to call it, put them, you know, quite near to trouble. If the Reichsgraf had had more ammunition and hadn't had to go home with only 5%, that could have been a very interesting. I mean, you can see the luck of the gods in some of this. Up here we've got a couple of light cruisers wandering around for no obvious reason, and that annoying Claymore destroyer. And then over here is 2 more light carriers. So yeah, they're in 4 groups, the French carriers. Okay. Well, still think it's a very successful engagement. Just because it's an annoyingly target-rich environment. 2 prestige points, 13,500 victory points. Unrest back down to 6. Well, that's really great to see. I'm thrilled with that. Yeah, it's a difficult war 9 months in. Our blockade is hurting them, their blockade is hurting us. Our victories are buoying up our public, and I don't know if they have a unrest level indicator with the British. The Battle of the Norwegian Sea. I think I mean, technically it's the 2nd, but you know, I want to commemorate this actually. Yeah, it's the Reichsgraf battle. Why not? Credit where credit is due. Let's look at the rest of the month. So 5 U-boats completed. That's nice. Not sure why that is. Usually, obviously, it's 4. And the final little trawler corvette, Minesweeper. Army wants to do an offensive. They never work. I mean, you give them stuff and, you know, at most you might get 1,000 victory points or something like that, but really they never work, so no. So helping our research for explosive shells, that's good. Breakthrough in supercharged diesels, 10% in weight for diesels. That will be interesting to look at if we ever do any long range. British have sunk a sub and another sub and another and another. Oh dear. Food scarce in Britain. Well, that's nice. It's not just us who are hurting here. It's hurting them too. Okay. And we've sunk one of theirs. And another one, a minesweeping one. I never like minesweeping submarines, at least not with the enemy. Little minor engagements, sinking a French corvette in the Med. And here's the summary. So, yes, they're still blockading us. Boo. 3 enemy submarines sunk, which is good because they have far fewer submarines than we have. 5 submarines lost for us, which is a shame. But we still retain 104 submarines in service. So, I'm pretty happy with the way the trade warfare has gone, actually. I'll just record this and track how that's been going. Oh, more hardship and food shortages. Okay, well, that's a double hardship and food message, unless we left it there accidentally. So lots of commissioning and building of things and stuff. The Soviet Union hasn't really moved in tensions, which is great. I don't need them to join. Spain is clamouring for more battlecruisers. Well, that will be decisive. I mean, in fairness, the battlecruiser has been a supremely nifty ship in these battles. And yeah, I'm not wanting for the lack. Captain Circe Ecclestadt is promoted to Rear Admiral, so that might open something up. And yeah, if we just bring across some information on the trade, let's just switch scenes. So you can see from that disastrous 13 at the beginning of the war, we've maintained a steady kind of loss, but recently it's been at the 5s, 3, 5, 5, 3, 6, 5, 42 in all. Royal Navy, shouldn't really be Royal Navy, because obviously they're allied now. 22, well, so, half the number of their submarines to ours, whereas we have 4 times the number of submarines that they do. Yeah, let's just do some live editing there. Allied submarines and Allied transports lost. So, yeah, when Britain was alone, they were in the 40s and 30s, and since France has joined, that's gone down to the 20s. So, it shows what an impact that can have. Mysteriously, after 9 months, still no liners lost. I wonder if liner losses are just made less likely the later things go on, because fewer accidents happen. I mean, touch wood, obviously, but yeah, that definitely hasn't been a thing. Still at 5.6 for transports. Here's the bar charts, and here's our positioning of submarines. So turn 1, 64, turn 9, we're at 74. That's mainly because all the submarines built so far have been coastal, so they've all gone into North Europe, and that's where the biggest number of losses have been. West Africa, as you can see, has dropped 1, Caribbean 1, Eastern US seaboard 1, and the Mediterranean 3. But that might change now that Italy's joined us. And so the new builds and the lost are balancing each other out, which is great. And yeah, I'm very, very happy with that. So, another really interesting battle. Bugger about the software update taking away my original narrative, but it's been quite interesting trying to do a voiceover. I hope it hasn't been too disjointed. And join me next time when some of the battlecruisers will return. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye for now.